shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
And finally, it's here. We had rain last night. We still have some lingering showers this morning. I'll let you know if it will affect your commute.
Plus, busy holiday travel. Plenty of people are set to head out for Memorial Day weekend. We have what you need to know before you leave. Plus, Devil Dogs debut. The Zebulon baseball team is counting down the hours until opening night. A look ahead before you go, plus why most of the players have global ties. Oh, we have a lot going on before you swing into the Memorial Day weekend. Let's go ahead and get things going. Thanks for joining us here on WRAL News. I'm Chris Lovingood. The rain, that is what you want to know. Is it going to interrupt your weekend plans? Well, let's take it to the best person who knows. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, I can already see some activity on your radar.
That's right. And yes, it is likely to interrupt at least some of your weekend plans because it's going to last well into next week. We definitely need the rain. We had some good showers last night. A little bit of lingering rain right around the triangle and another band back here from, say, Greensboro towards Charlotte. That'll roll in a little bit later on. But some showers around Lewisburg and Rollsville, Raleigh as well. That's really where we're seeing the bulk of the rain until that next wave comes through. Here's a look at Futurecast, and you can see this next round here pushing very slowly across our area. It's still likely to hold tight up through maybe even 10 a.m. And then we're going to get a bit of a break. Then the rain starts to come from the south. So 3 or 4, 5 o'clock in the evening, in the afternoon, we start to see that next round. But it doesn't move on up into the triangle until maybe 9, 10, 11. So we're definitely going to have some pockets today where it isn't raining. And that's the way this whole thing is going to go for us. We're going to have some rain that moves through and then some pockets. Notice more rain starts to arrive Saturday afternoon. And we'll talk more about the rest of the weekend in just a little bit. So our rain chances for today taper off close to the middle of the morning and then start to ramp back up later in the afternoon. This is a live look at downtown Raleigh. You can see some water on the camera lens. 62 is our temperature, and our highs will stay much cooler, of course, today with the clouds and the rain, looking at 75 for the high temperature. Back up into the 80s for the holiday weekend, but a good chance of rain, 60 to 70% Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But we'll talk more about the timing coming up, Chris.
That sounds good, Elizabeth. We'll see your full forecast in a bit. Well, we are working to learn more about a head-on crash in Wake County. This was that scene on Falls River Avenue before 3 this morning. You can see one car stuck between the other car and the tree. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there as Raleigh police investigated, and we have asked if anyone was injured in this. We'll, of course, bring you any updates as we learn them. Plus, we want to go ahead and get to our Memorial Day travel team coverage. Regardless of whether you're going to drive or fly, fuel prices are making long weekend getaways more expensive. Let's go ahead and start with WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. She is watching gas prices at one station. So, Kelsey, where are you right now?
Chris, right now we are headed on the Beltline. So this will be the most that you've paid for gas on Memorial Day weekend in about 4 years, according to AAA. If you have a 12-gallon gas tank, filling up for your Memorial Day weekend trip is going to cost you about $16 more than what it did last year. We're going to go ahead and give you a live look now at road conditions. Let's see if we can get a decent view for you. So not too much activity going on right now, but this is actually the route that a lot of folks will be taking if they're headed to the beach this weekend. Here's a breakdown of how much more you've been paying at the pump recently. As of yesterday, the average price of gas in North Carolina was $4.24 a gallon. That's up from $3.76 last month, and you were filling up for just $2.89 a gallon this same time last year. So coming up in the next half hour, we're going to talk about the best and worst times to hit the road this Memorial Day weekend. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And just a reminder, you can use the fuel tracker on the WRAL News app. That way you can find the lowest cost of gas wherever you go. Just search fuel on our app. And 45 million people are expected to travel this Memorial Day weekend. In fact, TSA is set to screen millions of people at airports nationwide. Let's go ahead and bring in WRAL's Ali Kadabar. She's live from RDU right now. So I can see a little bit of that TSA line behind you, Ali. How extensive is it right now?
Yeah, Chris, well, we know it usually gets pretty busy this early in the morning at RDU, but we are seeing that the lines are moving quickly. That's the thing here. We are seeing some activity, but they are moving and flowing pretty well. So AAA says 3.8 million people are set to fly domestically this weekend. And while the war on Iran is driving up prices, AAA says flights were actually 6% cheaper this year compared to last year. Now, this is based on travelers booking their flights before jet fuel prices started to rise in March. Data from International Air Transport Association does show jet fuel prices are going down, but it's still a lot higher than it was in February. So if you haven't booked a summer trip just yet, experts recommend booking early, months before, and before the demand drives up the price. Reporting at RDU, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
And folks, stay with WRAL all day and through the weekend for your latest travel conditions. You can also tune into WRAL News tonight from 4 to 7:30 as we monitor the long weekend departures. A WakeMed representative says the hospital system got a proposal from UNC Health over a potential partnership. WakeMed has a proposed deal with Atrium Health that could produce $2 billion for Wake County. Well, this month, WakeMed got an unsolicited proposal from UNC Health to discuss a possible alliance. That would reduce the number of Wake County health systems to 2. For now, WakeMed is upholding its recently announced pairing with Atrium, holding listening sessions for community feedback. This morning, the NASCAR community is honoring and remembering Kyle Busch. I want to show you a graphic displayed at Charlotte Motor Speedway last night. The two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion died yesterday at the age of 41. His family and his team announced his passing, and those who knew him remember him as humble and kind.
Advice, help, a shoulder to lean on, anything he could do to help out, and just spoke to the type of person he was, that he was never too big to help out.
You see, Busch was hospitalized with a severe illness, but family didn't specify what that was. NASCAR called him one of the sport's greatest and fiercest drivers. He won 234 races across NASCAR's 3 national series. That's the most of any driver. A town in crisis is now without 2 of its top leaders. Benson's town manager, Dane Rideout, resigned after an audio recording surfaced. It revealed his description of the town's financial situation. And in that recording, he used foul language to describe the situation and town leaders. Well, now the assistant town manager is out too. The town is $2 million in debt. Mayor Rex Rayner read both letters of resignation at last night's commissioner meeting.
Despite significant effort, it has become clear that I'm unable to overcome institutional resistance to the difficult but necessary changes required to address long-standing financial and management challenges.
The town is considering cuts to services and staffing to make up this money, and now the mayor says they're discussing who to put in place as an interim leader while they search for a new town manager. Oof. Carolina Hurricanes are in a hole to start the Eastern Conference Final after their first loss of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Montreal Canadiens scored 4 goals, 4 in the first period last night at Lenovo Center, on their way to a 6-2 win. The Canes have a pattern of struggling at this point in the playoffs. They have played 14 Eastern Conference Final games since 2019 and have only won 1 time. The team knows they got to play better.
We had to build a game and get something good out of it, and find a way to get back into it. We were obviously slowly building a game there, but not good enough tonight. We know this series wasn't going to be easy, and we're going to have to regroup.
Well, Game 2 of the series is also at Lenovo Center tomorrow night, and puck drops at 7. The city of Durham plans to get children enrolled in new investment accounts from the federal government. As part of the federal budget, children under 10 are eligible for 530A accounts with seed funding. Babies born in and after 2025 will get $1,000 from the U.S. Treasury. Any child born between 2016 and 2024 qualifies for a $250 deposit. Mayor Leonardo Williams will share his plans for getting that money to qualifying Durham kids, and the event will be held at Murray Massenburg Elementary School at noon. Well, Triangle Town Center will now have off-duty Raleigh police officers on site. These officers will join other security officers at the mall, and this is happening after a shooting last month left 3 people hurt, including 2 teens. 18-year-old Marcus Neal is charged with 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon in that case. And Raleigh police are investigating 2 shootings. This is video of Newbolt Street around 7 last night. One man was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and police say this was a robbery, but no arrests have been made. And police also responded to reports of a shooting on Triangle Oaks Drive. That was around 6:30 last night, but they haven't released information about a possible suspect in that case or what led to the shooting. So 65% of North Carolina is in extreme drought, which is up 6% from last week. There's hope that rain overnight and during the Memorial Day weekend will help those conditions, at least a little bit. Every local county has at least some areas under extreme drought conditions, and right now, water levels at Falls Lake are 4 feet below normal. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is warning boaters to be careful. Low water levels can expose hidden dangers.
There's so many hidden dangers, rocks, stumps, things like that. It's a lot of dirt and rocks and everything showing. You know, that's not normally, that's underwater, submerged 5 or 6 feet.
Now, despite the rain we saw overnight, officials say it won't be enough to end this drought. All right, today marks a new era for baseball in Zebulon. The Devil Dogs will kick off opening night of their first season at the newly named Nomeco Park. That's where we find WRAL's Kirsten Clark. She's joining us live right now. And Kirsten, you can already feel the hype and the excitement as people are preparing to see the Devil Dogs.
Yes, we can, Chris. We are inside the team store in the stadium right now. And as you can see, I'm in the spirit. I've got my Devil Dogs foam finger here, #1 for the home team. And this is just one of the items you can find here to represent the Devil Dogs in the team store. You've got foam hot dog hats, more foam fingers, Devil Dogs baseballs, t-shirts galore, hats, pretty much anything you could name for everyone, including kids. All the fun got started last night with the Fan Fest and ribbon cutting, and it continues tonight as the Devil Dogs hit the field for the first time and take on the Virginia Beach Valor. You can buy single game tickets for just $22, and included in the price of every ticket is all you can eat concessions, including a special Australian themed food item. And in partnership with Ozball Australia, most of the Devil Dogs on the field will be college players from Australia. We caught up with one of them before the big night.
It's unreal. I mean, we have nothing like this back home in Australia. The stadium, the fans coming out, and we just want to put it on for the fans, represent Zebulon well, represent Australia well, and just have a great time.
Yeah, so all the fun gets kicked off tonight. You'll see a lot of people again with their foam fingers, t-shirts decked out in Devil Dogs gear. There'll be post-game fireworks to end the night, in addition to more games and fun-filled promotions throughout Memorial Day weekend and into Memorial Day. Live in Zebulon, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
And so here's a look at what you can look forward to this rest of opening weekend with the Devil Dogs. Well, tomorrow you can get down on the field before the game, and Sunday kids get to run the bases. And there's a special on beer Monday night. And the Holly Springs Salamanders are also celebrating their opening weekend. They'll have Champ the Bat Dog tonight. Saturday night's theme is K-pop, and Sunday is Star Wars. The Salamanders will celebrate Memorial Day with $1 hot dogs, and Capital Broadcasting Company, which owns WRAL, owns the league in which the Devil Dogs and Salamanders play. Your time this Friday morning is 4:42. Charges dismissed. Why a former Virginia assistant principal accused of ignoring signs that a young student had a gun can walk free. Plus, school closure criticism. Why parents, students, and staff are saying no to school district leaders in Chapel Hill, Carborough.
And we're saying yes to the rain. It started overnight last night and continues this morning. It's not likely to be widespread or heavy, but it could still affect your morning commute. I'll show you who might see it. 4:46, and we are waking up to more rain this morning. We had showers, of course, overnight last night. We're going to talk about how much we saw. Some folks already saw a good soaking. A little bit of rain from, say, Raleigh northward, right around Lewisburg. Wake Forest, Creedmoor seeing a few showers this morning. And there's another band of rain that's back to the west. We, of course, will see our front stalled over us all the way through the weekend and into next week, which will continue to bring some rain. So we haven't seen a pattern like this in quite some time. The rain tapers off this morning, but then redevelops by later this afternoon, starting in the south and moving northward as we get through the day. Of course, we have the tower lit in green for the rain. And if you're walking the dog this morning, it's not raining everywhere, but definitely we have some wet sidewalks out there. It'll be a much cooler afternoon with a high of 75 today.
Well, the criminal charges against a former Virginia assistant principal accused of ignoring warnings that a young student had a gun have been dismissed. The charges against Ebony Parker stemmed from the 2023 shooting at Rich Neck Elementary in Newport News. A 6-year-old student shot and injured a teacher. The prosecution argued they accused Parker of dismissing several warning signs that the student had a gun. The defense argued the fault lied with the teachers who failed to take action. The judge ultimately ruled that Parker's actions were not a crime. The case was dismissed with prejudice, which means it cannot be brought to trial again. The mother of a Moore Square middle school student said all students will cross on the floor, not the stage, during their 8th grade graduation ceremony today. And this was after she asked for accommodations for her daughter's mobility needs. Shannon Dingle's daughter, Zoe, is graduating 8th grade alongside her classmates today. You see, Zoe is wheelchair bound, and so her mom asked if a ramp could be provided. That way, Zoe could cross the stage with her peers during the ceremony. Dingle says she and her daughter were made to feel that getting a ramp was a hassle for the school, and she worries there won't be good visibility for parents to see their children cross the floor, which was not the outcome she hoped for.
I just want to see my little girl graduate from 8th grade tomorrow, and I want for her and her classmates to be able to walk across a stage with a ramp. I don't know that that's going to happen, though.
WRAL asked Wake County School Superintendent Robert Taylor about this situation, and he says that he will look into what happened here. Well, parents, students, and staff are criticizing conversations about closing schools in the Chapel Hill Carrboro City School District. More than a dozen staff members, parents, and students came out to a public hearing last night at Ephesus. We're talking about Ephesus, Glenwood, and Sewell elementary schools that are being considered for closure. Now, this is happening as the district is facing budget issues and declining enrollment. Speakers emphasize the special learning opportunities at the school.
We are not numbers on the map, we are not empty seats, and we are not pieces to be moved around. We are children. We are the future of this community. Please do not make decisions about us without listening to us.
The school board will continue receiving feedback and make a decision on closures in June. Okay, let's go ahead and swing into your weather forecast because we need to talk about the rain, some of the rain we're seeing right now, but also the rain that's on the way. We have Elizabeth Gardner to talk us through that, but this still isn't enough to get us out the drought, though.
No, we need 10 to 15 inches of rain to get us out of the drought, but this is the kind of pattern that we need. This will stop the drought from spreading and hopefully begin to shrink some of that extreme drought that expanded across our area this week. We take a look here. We have a band of rain that's back to the west. That's going to be moving in. We have a few isolated showers moving out of Wake County up into Franklin County right now, and that'll be heading up toward Roanoke Rapids as well. So we don't have a ton of rain across the area right now, but most of us are seeing some wet streets and sidewalks as you head out the door. This is a look at some of the rain from last night with some good looking rainfall totals. Over here across parts of Harnett County and Lee County, it was as much as 2.5 inches in a pocket there. Another pocket of 2.5 inches in parts of Chatham County. A tiny little pocket just north of Rocky Mount at 3 inches. And look at that, east of Roanoke Rapids, 4.5. So that was really good to see. Of course, with thunderstorm type precipitation, it's in pockets like that, but we're going to have 6 more days in a row where we're going to have the opportunity to see this. So hopefully everybody, at least at some point, gets a nice soaking out of it, especially Saturday. That front is going to stall and just sit here for several days. We continue to have some showers, some light scattered rain as we get through the morning commute. Nothing terribly heavy, but it's already wet out there, so could have some impacts in terms of slowing traffic down. Once we get into the middle of the afternoon, another band begins to develop and lift northward. It doesn't move through the triangle until after the evening commute, so it looks like it'll be fairly dry. And the way this pattern is likely to work is we'll have some dry periods during the day, and then in the afternoon and evening, the rain will start to push back in. Now, this version of Futurecast shows some rain earlier on Saturday, starting closer to lunchtime. Saturday, at this point, Saturday and Saturday night look like they'll be potentially the wettest of the entire weekend. Will it happen starting at noon, or is it going to start a little later in the afternoon? The models are not quite agreeing on that just yet. It is wet out there as we take a look at downtown Raleigh. 62 degrees right now, the northeast wind, 62 Cary, 61 in Garner. So our temperatures are on the mild side, and we stay much cooler for today with temperatures mostly in the low to mid 70s with some 80s to the south. We continue with a good chance of rain at least through Tuesday. And even though today will be 75, we're looking at 80s Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for Memorial Day. Of course, this is lots of chances for rain. Coming up, we'll talk about how much we're now looking at between now and Thursday. Chris?
All right, sounds good, Elizabeth. Your time is 4:52. A classic returns. Why Terminator 2 is back in theaters, plus a look at a new comedy movie coming to Netflix. We'll be back.